Hello there, hope you're having a terrific afternoon. Today I'm talking about feeling lost and what goes on for you. When you're in feeling lost, you can feel overwhelmed, you can feel confused, you can feel quite ungrounded, and it's a feeling that if you don't really spend some energy and time getting to know what's going on inside of yourself, you can begin to spiral and you can begin to get into a place that sometimes is a little bit harder to come out of. So how do you get to this place where you're feeling lost? Well, you might be going through a lot of change at the moment. There could be a change in perhaps a working environment or who you work with, or a job. There could be a relationship that's changing. Perhaps you've broken up with a partner, or perhaps you've moved out. There could be your last child has moved home, left home. There's so many different things that can be happening for you where you can be feeling lost. Lost is very closely linked to rejection. So something to ask yourself is, okay, am I feeling rejection? So my question to you is somebody rejecting you? Do you feel rejection? You know, I listen a fair bit to Tara Brock. She does fantastic meditations. So if you're ever looking for somebody, I highly recommend you look her up. She was interviewing a priest, and this priest works with homelessness and works with people who are in gangs. And he talked about being able to help these gentlemen not feel so lost, and then come to a place where they really understand their inner world and they don't take any of it personally if somebody outside of them rejects them. And I really hooked on to what he was saying, because I've believed this for many, many years, that true self-love is not dependent on love being returned. I wrote it down because I loved it so much. So I'm going to repeat it. True self-love is not dependent on love being returned. So why am I sharing this with you? And how does this link in with feeling lost? Sometimes you're going to feel lost. We're in a world of change. You know, there is no permanency. Things change. And your living situation can change. People in your world can change. What you do for a living can change. Your body can change. And that can create feelings of feeling lost. But the richer that you are in your relationship with yourself, the less likely or the less the feelings are going to be. And if you do have them, you're going to know how to be there for yourself. You won't self-reject, which is something that so many of us do, is that we're looking outside to get validation and to be seen by others because we don't know how to give it to ourselves. This is a really long way around about what I'm actually trying to say, is that if you're feeling lost, it's bring it back to yourself and being able to practice mindfulness, being able to practice meditation, being able to write in your journal is going to help you bring some connection in with yourself, because that feeling of feeling lost is a disconnect with yourself. You know, for a very long time, I used to just live in the head up. I didn't even understand when I used to hear people talk about, or when I was going to see counsellors, they talk about embodiment and talk about transformation and talk about awakening. Well, that went right over my head. I didn't really have any comprehension of what that meant. I do now, because what it meant was I was so used to being in my head, so used to working things out in my head, because let's go way back to childhood. I had learned to not be in my body and to not feel, because it was too freaking painful to do that. I didn't know how to process my emotions. I didn't know how to be with my emotions, which is the case for a lot of people. And so when we feel lost, there is a disconnect with our gut, with our heart, with our inner world. And so the work that I have done on myself, and I continue to do, and I will for the rest of my life, because there's no permanency with anything and things can happen, is knowing how to regulate my emotions and bring myself into a calm place. But it's, as humans, we have to heal, process, transform, whatever wording you want, our false self, our self that was created to just be loved. Most of us have got a false self. And by the time you end up in a coach's office or counsellor's office, it's about, okay, transformation, healing, wholeness. Well, how do you do that? You start going in. You start connecting with that lost feeling and being able to feel it in the body. Make friends with it. Be curious. Allow it. Cry. Nurture. Be with it. That lost feeling is a little bit of an indicator that you're disconnected with yourself. And so how do I bring it back to myself and land in and be with that? And also setting goals is a really big element in this. By setting goals, you're setting an intention. You're changing the energy. Goals coming from, particularly when they're aligned with your values, are a really great way to shift yourself out of that lost feeling. And even tiny little goals. It could be taking the dog for a walk this afternoon at 4 p.m. Doesn't matter what it is, but it's about moving the body in the intention of where you want to go. So if you're listening to this because you feel lost, it's being able to stop the self-rejection. It's being able to bring in mindfulness. It's being able to bring in self-reflection, being able to be present. And it's learning, it's practicing, it's all of these different skills and tools. And so from what I've connected with you today about, think of one action step that you can do that can help you feel less lost, where you can feel found, where you can come in, come home, land. That's a really, really good place to start. But anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you. I hope that's given you something. And I'll see you this time next Wednesday at 3 o'clock. And you know what? The power of change is within you. See ya.